As we all try and stick out this period of isolation, the world continues to spin. We have seen the many posts mentioning that the earth is healing, animals making their way into cities, and the waterways of Venice flowing clear, whales even being spotted in bays across the globe. It would seem that it is not only terrestrial life that is taking advantage of the lack of people. A look toward the stars may have you seeing something a little harder to explain. UFO sightings have taken a real upturn of late. This may be because more people are out looking up at the sky, or that extraterrestrial visitors have decided to come and see what all the recent fuss is about. Either way, one country that is seeing an above average amount of activity is Belgium. So let's take a look. Welcome to IF, videos on history, mystery and the strange. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video again. Since the lockdown kicked in, clear weather and comments made by SpaceX founder and all-round futurist Elon Musk have contributed to the highest number of reported UFO sightings since Belgium's Great UFO Wave of 1989. But more on that later. Citizens of Belgium are under lockdown, stuck at home like most of us, and many, instead of watching Netflix on the sofa and doing their part, are venturing out and looking up at the sky. They are seeing something more confusing than the Tiger King. The citizens of the country are reporting more and more UFOs daily. There has been 87 reports of potential alien spaceships during March in Belgium, most of them in Dutch-speaking Flanders, and 188 in the first 3 months of this year. From March 28th to April 1st, more than 50 Belgians in Flanders reported a row of moving lights flying from west to east. This strange formation has also been seen in many other countries across the globe. Some have speculated that this could be some man-made tech, drones being the most popular idea. In a move that would have those that fear a Big Brother state becoming the new norm, it is thought that these are government or military deployed drone craft, and that they are monitoring the cities for people breaking curfew or impose restrictions on travel. I'm not sure which idea I fear more, Hunger Games like drones watching me, or aliens arriving in large numbers. Who am I kidding? It's the drones that worry me. Let's get back to Belgium. Frédéric Dallier, the coordinator of the Belgium UFO Reporting Centre, said Belgium's rollout of lockdown measures to fight this pandemic was likely to be responsible for the increased sightings. He said, "We suspect the clear weather of the past few days and the COVID-19 measures have caused this strong increase." These many reports became a little more serious when two fireballs were seen just 1 hour apart on April the 1st. The first was spotted by the Fripon network's 4 stations at about 11 PM. The second was captured by 3 cameras 30 minutes later. Some 3 hours after this, another fireball streaked across the skies of neighbouring country Germany. Puzzled as to what these objects could be, they were tracked, and the UFO network calculated the paths for both events over Belgium based on the recorded data, and both appear to have parallel trails. Several cameras from the CAMS network in Grapfontein managed to capture the fireballs. Brams had detected the event as well. The first one, however, generated a minor overdense meteor echo, and only the stations in Limburg and east of Belgium were able to spot it. The first fireball was hardly visible from the middle of the country, while it was clearly seen in the western area. The second one, on the other hand, generated a stronger signal which saturated several receivers and was detected by most of the BRAMS stations. Spectrograms of both events registered by the Humane station show that the first fireball had an echo in the middle and was not as bright as the second one. So one of these objects was hollow. Was it a possibility that it could be a craft? Maybe a scout of an upcoming alien invasion? The third fireball exploded over southern Germany 2 hours after the 2 fireballs spotted over Belgium. Belgium has had a long history with UFO activity. Many famous sightings of strange craft have been reported. As mentioned at the start, 1989 being a particularly active year. Going back to the 80s, witnesses claim to notice strange lights in the sky. Local law enforcement gave a description of these lights, saying they looked like the lights on a huge football field. Slowly, those that witnessed the unidentified lights noticed that there was an object behind them, a massive triangular craft with 3 huge spotlights shining down onto the ground. There were also red flashing lights in the middle of the triangle. The whole thing was floating in the air, said the policeman who had seen the UFO. The town of Eupen, just 7 miles from the German border, was the epicenter of these sightings. Henrik Nicole, the policeman, and his partner, Hubert von Montegene, contacted the dispatcher and reported that they had seen an object while on a routine patrol. Albert Krutz, who was on the receiving end of the call, said, "Suddenly, they told me they were seeing a strange object in the sky. It made no noise. We joked about it and said it might be Santa Claus trying to land." As the night rolled on, 30 different groups and another 3 police officers would see the unidentified flying object. These close encounters carried on for months, a UFO wave, and then 30 years to the day, March 30th, 1990, 2 Belgium Air Force F-16s pursued a mysterious object which they spotted on their radars but was invisible to the naked eye. At the time, there were around 2,000 sightings, starting in November 1989 and lasting until April 1990, and then starting again this year in 2020. Patrick Fern, the president of the Belgian Committee for the Study of Space Phenomena, SOBEPS, spoke with the Telegraph newspaper and said, "You must know that most of these sightings will have the most banal explanation, but there is a residue which we simply can't explain, and of those, there may be 2 or 3 where we may have questions over where they came from." He went on to say, "Lots can be ruled out, though. For example, a classic photograph of the triangular-shaped aircraft known as the Petit Rechin picture is without a doubt a hoax. The forger admitted as much when he came forward in 2011. We made the model with polystyrene, we painted it, and then we started sticking things to it, then we suspended it in the air, and we took the photo," the prankster confessed to Reuters. Brian Dunning, the writer and producer of the podcast Skeptoid, also refutes a number of the sightings, arguing that the November apparitions were in fact a helicopter and the police officers were interviewed and were biased ufologists. Conflicting information published by Reuters claims instead that the lights over Upturn were from a Soviet satellite breaking up. The Belgian military were heavily involved in these incidents, and it is to be expected. The then Chief of Operations of the Air Staff, General Wilfried de Brouwer, gave his account to the reporter Leslie Keane. He said that his initial idea was that the American military may have been testing some sort of X-plane or prototype aircraft over the country. He was so sure of this that he went on to file inquiries with the US Embassy in Brussels, this prompting the Americans to draft a formal response titled Belgium and the UFO Issue, which confirmed that no USAF stealth aircrafts were operating in the area during the time frame in question. 3 decades later, explanations are still in short supply, and with the resurgence in unidentified flying objects, we should look to the past to help us find answers for today's increase. Some use the old theory of mass hysteria to explain it. UFO skeptic Philip Klass wrote, "Once news coverage leads to the public believing that UFOs may be in the vicinity, there are then numerous natural and man-made objects which, especially when seen at night, can take on unusual characteristics in the minds of hopeful viewers. Their UFO reports in turn add to the mass excitement, which encourages still more observers to watch out for UFOs." However, in this case, the very credible witnesses, military and police, say no, they saw something real and felt its effects on them and the environment around them. The events were real and in no way imagined. Could the new rash of sightings be linked to these older close encounters? Why were so many sightings reported then, and why are more being reported now? Why, when we find ourselves locked in our homes, are UFO sightings rising quickly around the globe? Could this be the reason why we are locked in? Are extraterrestrials now arriving in large numbers? Or maybe it's meteors or comets crashing to Earth? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you're all well and not going too stir crazy. This week's been quite difficult to say the least, but today we are seeing numbers falling, so hopefully we'll be out of this mess soon. If you are in quarantine and looking for someone to speak to, by all means, please drop me a message on my social media. In the meantime, it's time for me to sign out, so if you like what I do here on the channel, hit that red button, like and share. You can catch the latest by searching We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.